Sorry, it's been a while. Oh my goodness, what happened last time I spoke to you? I think it was in January, soon after someone that I got close to left, and I was in a bit of a bad place. And that bad place continued for a while, guys. Like, my eating went downhill so bad, and my weight didn't exactly drop, or I don't think it dropped very much, but my blood levels were just all over the shop. Every time I was having a blood test, I was going into general and being put on an IV for potassium, and my glucose levels were extremely low and stuff like this. And then I was back out again a couple of days later. Another blood test came around, went back into general, more like IV and everything else. And at one point when I left, I went straight to the climbing centre. I'd been pulled out of a couple of shifts at the climbing centre to go to hospital, and then afterwards I returned to the climbing centre a couple of days later to climb. It was all very strange. And so all that was going on. Meanwhile, I was balancing my life with that, and I was having my exams and missing all of my lessons, but going to my exams, or rather knowing they were coming up, and my teachers were saying, you may have to retake the year if you can't take the exams. And I was like, okay, well, let's see how we go on the exam dates. And they sort of expected that I wouldn't be able to make it, because I was going in there from hospital in the morning with the band still on my wrist, hey, I'm here for the lesson, weird. Anyway, so all that was happening, and my flat was becoming a tip, and I was in such a low place, and I could not sleep at night, and everything was a bit crap. And I started getting fairly close to someone else who said that they were interested in me in March, after a month of hanging out as friends and hanging out among friends with this person and stuff. And I had been really interested in this person in terms of just being very interested, not in a dating sense, because I don't feel physical attraction to anyone unless I'm extremely close to them. Yeah, I've changed my sexuality label in my head. Basically, I think you guys remember for ages I sort of thought of myself as asexual because I wasn't physically attracted to anyone, but homo-romantic because I sort of bonded well and felt romantic towards girls without necessarily being physically attracted, just but wanting to be closer emotionally and everything else than friends. And then as I started hanging out with guys a lot more, because the thing is, I had only really hung out with girls because I was scared of men and guys. The fact I then also didn't feel attraction to them in any way, shape or form, didn't feel attraction to girls in any way, shape or form, but felt this closeness with girls, or certain people. That's the conclusion that I could just about come to, if you could call that a conclusion. And then I decided to just stop labeling it, and I left it as just open, I'm not bisexual because I'm not attracted to anyone, I'm not homosexual because I'm not attracted to anyone, I'm not anything, I don't want to put it down to anything, I'm not pansexual because I'm not attracted to anyone, but I can be attracted to people when I'm extremely close to them. So I just left it open, you know what, I can't be bothered to try to label it. I can't be bothered, it's tiring, I don't want other people to label me, I don't want to label me myself. I'm just who I am, and I will end up with whoever I end up with, and etc. And this person was a guy, and I was interested in him in that from the minute I met him, I sort of thought that he had other stuff going on in the background, in the space of his own head. He just seemed to have quite a dark shadow that maybe followed him, and threw himself into climbing with so much vigor, and was so cheerful and silly all the time, and it was no, you're not. And he was going through quite a tough time at the same time I was going through a tough time. Neither of us were aware of this. I first met him in October, and then it was in October, I was getting close to this other person who left in January, and I was going through all of that, and it was really intense and really stressful and good and meaningful, but really intense and a lot to have to heal from when that person left. I missed them a lot, and you guys saw that I was quite distressed a lot of the time and very lonely and very lost and sad. And yeah, I was sort of like interested in this person. When they said they were interested in me, I was quite scared because I was still healing, because in my head I was a state, because my food was a state, because I was in and out of hospital, because my flat was a state and is still a bit statey. Um, yeah, I was quite worried, and I sort of said, well, we'll see how it goes, but we won't push anything. And I sort of was a bit scared. I had been thinking that since we were hanging out. I was scared that like things were going to move forward, and it would be like when I got close to this other person who left, and that I wouldn't really control it, and suddenly I was in this thing of closeness and like intimacy, and I don't know what to do with it, and I don't know if I want it or if I hate it or if I like it or whatever. Anyway, I was hanging out with this person all the time and talking to this person all the time, and found out an awful lot about him, though I still think nothing really in detail. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of like vague stuff like this happened, this happened, this happened, but nothing to do with like the real details and the nitty gritty and the stuff that this person lives with. And yeah, a couple of nights we were walking home from the climbing centre, and we like walked through this park, and we had sat on this bench and like just like chatted or sat in silence or chatted or sat in silence. And one night we sat on the bench for like 6 hours till like 2 in the morning ish, before heading home. And then the night after that we did the same thing, and like the way we were talking was like closer than friends, and like it sort of ended with like me resting my head on his shoulder for quite a while, and then the next night I was still completely unsure at this point. Like I wanted this closeness, but I was scared because of the whole like me being a bit mental and stuff. And then the next night, like this is so detailed, I'm sorry, but it's my vlog. Um, we like kissed, and I was quite shocked at myself because I enjoyed it, and like I suddenly felt super close to him, and suddenly like all the like concern and stuff actually went away, which doesn't usually happen, especially with suddenly becoming that little bit physically closer with someone. Usually the opposite happens, and I'm like, oh no, 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 what do I do? Ah, I'm stuck. Ah. It wasn't like that. And I was like, oh. And then since then, we got closer and closer. We're officially in a relationship and like see each other all the time and spend basically every night with each other. And only really spend nights away from each other when like we either have to, or we sort of say, oh, are we gonna get sick of each other? Should we spend the night apart tonight? Yeah, yeah, sure, okay. This very rarely happens, less than once a week currently. I think partly because it is a new relationship, and there's like all of like that sort of excitement of new relationship and intrigue and sort of still getting to know each other whilst knowing each other very well type thing. Um, yeah, and there's this whole thing where he might be moving to Brighton. You may, who follow people who follow me on Tumblr may realise that like I put a post about Brighton a while ago, just asking like, has anyone ever lived in or been to Brighton? And yeah, he may be moving to Brighton to do like stuff there. And he was sort of like a bit worried and a bit swaying about the idea, because of me, and like whether he could leave me or not, and like whether he'd want to, etc. And I sort of said, well, after my exams are done, I don't actually have any commitments here. He has this thing that he really wants to do in Brighton. I don't have anything for me in Brighton, but I don't have anything for me here. If he moves there, I would have something in Brighton. Him. And there is a uni there that when I get my results back and qualifications for these exams that I've now finished, finally, I might actually meet the requirements to do something in their uni, like perhaps applied psychology. And they have a bouldering centre there, so I could potentially still keep working like in climbing. So that might be happening end of September, beginning of October. I know. What? And like my friend the other day was like, this is very unlike you. What's going on? You've got this going on. I didn't want to say anything, but you have a boyfriend. Yeah, I do. And you're sat here eating breakfast. Yeah, I am. My eating is still fucked, but like a lot better. And it was like, yeah, I am doing really strange, not like me things, but they're good things, but like risky things. But I want to take risks. And like moving to Brighton would be one hell of a risk. But should I just do it? But then this is quite a hard thing to talk about because puts my dad in a bad light, and he's kind of peed me off with it a bit, but like he's very judgmental. He knows that this person that I'm seeing lived in Syria, is Syrian, half, and like moved here a few years ago, and several years ago. And my dad has got all these worries and concerns, and like he's got all these problems with like Muslims, and like my dad is very different to me, let's just say. And like the guy I'm seeing isn't even Muslim. The only reason my dad has said all of this is because he came from Syria, and he's never met him either, by the way. I don't really know what to say about any of that. I'm just letting you guys in on it. And I wish that my dad didn't have these stupid things. And I think that once he's actually met the guy that I'm seeing, all of those thoughts will probably be alleviated because, like, no. Basically. But yeah. Not much more to update you on. Food is still definitely not great. But has been worse in the past and is better than it was. I am so tired. Yeah, that is my update for you. I think I need to give you a cat update because Cobra is much bigger than he was. Because like you guys haven't seen my cats for ages, so obviously you need to. So yeah. Hey guys. So here is my girly Nova. You guys remember her? She's quite big, but not that big. She's not got as big a tummy as Kobu does, but she is quite reasonably sized. Yeah. I'm sorry. She's turned into like such a snob. She doesn't let anyone but me really touch her. He's Tofu now. He's much bigger than you last saw him. Look at the big tummy on him. I mean, part of it is shaved, as you can see, from where he had some surgery a little while ago. But now he's all better, and he's so big, and so fat, and so fluffy. Like, look at this cat. This is a good cat, who is putting up with me very well. But he is a cat that puts up with a lot. Careful! Oh, but he's so lovely. He's so lovely. Like, look at that face. No. Pick your face up. Yeah. Ow, ow, ow. I am still climbing. I'm working at the climbing centre. Not very much at the moment. I would like to have more shifts than I get, but I'll get there. Yeah. What else? I think that's it. I think I'll leave you guys with that. Hope you guys are all wonderfully well and are staying strong. And speak to you again. And yeah. I need to do something, but I don't know what. Ugh. Yeah. And Charlie is still with me, of course, as you just heard. So bye bye, guys. I will see you around.